So you have a lot of proposals to reform government, to reform lobbying. One of the proposals that you have out there is you have a plan that would raise the salary of, to be clear, the next president, not yourself,
Yep.
to $4 million.
Yep.
While barring them from accepting outside employment or speaking fees for sort of a decade after they leave office. You do the same with agency heads and cabinet members. You would raise their salary to $1 million. The idea behind this is basically remove the temptation.
And the revolving door, yeah.
But how would you sell a plan that involves giving, these high-ranking government officials a massive raise to an American public that's already, as you said, distrustful and disdainful of Washington?
As your president, about a year from now, I will pledge to, I'll stand up, it's a little awkward. Sorry about this. Now it's like, you've asked me a very serious question, sir. As your president, I will pledge never to take any speaking fees for any personal gain after I leave office forever. Because it's human nature that if I know a company can pay me $250,000 to schmooze their clients for 1 hour, then I might go easier on that company as the president. That happens with every agency regulator. As soon as you stick someone at the head of an agency in DC, a clock starts ticking. And they start thinking, okay, what's my next move after my stint at this agency ends? And you know who's waiting for them? Industry with bags of money, saying, hey, if you go easy on us, we'll hire you and pay you 5 to 10 times what you're making now. So human nature is for that person to go easy on the companies. You know who said this? Sheila Bair, who used to run the FDIC. She said, look, you need to make this a one-way street because all of my incentives are to be nice to the companies as soon as I get here. So what I'm proposing is we take Sheila up on her advice and make being president and a regulator a one-way street. Say, if you do this, you cannot work for industry for years afterwards. And if you have a long enough period, like 10 years, you become useless because they're not after you for your know-how. They're after you because you can call people up and lean on them. So for having regulators and a president that answer to us, a higher salary is a very, very small price to pay. Because if you're going to say to someone, you can never work for industry again after you take this job, you have to give them enough compensation so it's not like a lifetime of poverty. So what I'm saying, and this is what Sheila said too, we need to ramp up the compensation for top regulators, but then we'll have the confidence that they actually work for us. I'm going to close on a personal story. I went to high school with a guy who went to Capitol Hill with the best of intentions. And he said to me, can't stand lobbyists, would never be one. What is he today? We know how this story ends. And I don't blame him for it because after he did his time on Capitol Hill, it was a big company that wanted to pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars to lobby, and there weren't other opportunities at that level. We have a fundamental incentives problem for both our government and industry, and we have to change it if we're ever going to have regulators that work in the public interest to the point where they'll actually make enemies of the companies and know that they can never work there again.
So, President Barack Obama has taken speaking fees since he left office. Do you believe that was a mistake on his part? Do you believe that those speaking fees possibly influenced him when he was president?
All I will say is that I will gladly take no speaking fees forever after I leave office, and that should be the standard we hold presidents to. Because if you can't count on the president to work on behalf of the American people, then it's never going to happen. Cultures and organizations start at the top. If you see the boss doing something, then you look around and be like, I guess it's okay. So if we want to clean up what's happening in Washington, the boss has to set the example. So I'm not going to speak to past behaviors. I will just say what I will do as your president. And if we codify it, then that should be the norm for every president after me.
So that was a yes on Obama. That was a yes on Obama then.
Let's just say, it's human nature is human nature. And there has to be a point in American life where we say enough is enough. It's like there have to be some things that are more important than money. And And right now, essentially nothing in American life is more important than money. If you have human lives on one side and money, which wins right now? The money. Democracy, money, the money. Families, the money, the money. Like, there's nothing that's beating money in America today. And that has to change. I'm running for president because I've seen the future that lies ahead for our kids. How many of y'all are parents like me? And so if you're a parent, you realize that we're leaving our kids a future that is far less secure and stable than the lives that we have led. And that's because of the numbers. It is just a fact that their future is going to be much more tenuous and uncertain. That's why Trump is our president today. And we have to change that. The only way to change that is having a government that's actually looking out for people and families instead of giant companies and lobbyists.